Good evening. It's the
Yeah,
General Thoughts Podcast.
for
I'm your
sure.
co-host, Book De Niro, also known as Tysheem Crocker. And I'm here with my brother, my partner, ONINESIX. This is another episode of the General Thoughts Podcast. What's up, bro?
Ain't nothing, man. I wanted to talk about something that you might be familiar with. Relationships with people such as self who are incarcerated, with women that are on the outside, even with men that are on the outside with women that are incarcerated. But for more, we're gonna focus on something that you could relate to, because you in your situation, and I'm sure you
Hmm.
have had women friend on the outside that you have over
Right.
the years been in relationships with or have spoken with. So I just want
Situations,
to, right,
situations,
right,
you know
right,
what I mean? Relationships. Um, one of the listeners and one of the subscribers have reached out. She will remain anonymous, and that's her choice. But she reached out and she actually wanted us to do something like this. Discuss relationships, the dynamics between a man that's in prison and a woman that's in the streets that's holding a dude down. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Or holding them up. I like to use the terminology holding them up.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Don't pick
right,
me down, pick me up.
right.
But when you talk about holding somebody down, usually from what I've seen, being incarcerated, being in confinement for an extended period of time, is when a chick is holding the dude down, she cutting the check. She busting her butt to take care of her man that's in prison.
Right.
With expectations. It's like almost an investment. She has expectations of this kid, this cat, this dude, the
Mhm.
boy, whatever, coming home and filling whatever void that she has out there.
Right.
And in the process of doing that, they either grow close, gain an affection for one another, and this shit is super dope. Or somebody faking it and the shit is super whack. You feel me?
Right. Was you say that they giving money, and well, like I said, those things, like in any relationship, I feel like money, when someone gives money, they feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's an obligation to the person that they giving that money to. It's not always no strings attached type of money. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Oh, I'm paying, I'm doing this. If you do something for somebody, I feel like you shouldn't throw it in their face later. Like say, well, oh, I'm invested all this money, this time, this. You invested that not because it was a one sided thing, right? I mean,
Right.
he might not have money to give to you in certain people cases, but you invested this money is not something that you should come back and throw in somebody's face. You know what I mean? It was a mutual situation. If you're saying that, you know what I mean? You shouldn't say,
Mm-hmm.
well, I invested all this time, money, or love, or whatever you invested into this person, and they didn't get that, and then you feel like that's not what was reciprocated, right? Because you entered into that contract with no gun to your head, right? You never had to pick up the phone again. You never had to write another letter to that person. You never had to. Those things are things that you chose to do because you wanted a certain situation with that person, right?
True.
All right. So
True.
so sometimes I feel like with people like that are incarcerated and women that are on the outside, I feel like they feel like they got a captive audience. Like, oh, I know where this dude is at. I know what he doing. I know he ain't fucking no bitches or no women, I should say. He ain't messing with no women, right? Because I can't do nothing. I know the most he could do is talk to another chick. I know where he at though. I don't got to worry about him running in the streets. They feel like they got a captive person, like you know what I mean. It's like like they put you in that closet and they're like, "Oh, I know when I come from work, he gonna be there." You know what I mean? And
Or
I feel like it's not. 100% of the situations. I just feel like a lot of situations that I've witnessed over the years, it's kind of like that. You know, and another thing is like they got these people, they got these men who are limited in the choice of women that they could encounter because they in jail with a whole bunch of men, right? So you like, I'm in here with these niggas. I could talk to any chick. You know what I mean? I could, if this, I was talk to this chick, and then you talking to this chick, and then she's like, all right, she's cool over the phone, but this is not the caliber of woman that you would deal with if you was on the street. You know what I mean?
Um, I see what you're saying, right? And that's deep. So you saying that a lot of men in prison settle?
I mean, I think so. I mean, not settle because I feel like on both sides you have uh people, not, I don't want to say evildoers, but you have people with ulterior motives on both sides of the spectrum, right? So on the
Yeah.
inside, this dude is like, yo, my family ain't really looking out for me. This is the only way I could get some kind of bread, some kind of, some kind of phone time, some kind of interaction with somebody that's not in here. You know what I mean? And so they settle for a woman that's not of the stature of the woman that they would normally try to go for if they in the street. And the same thing with the women, they settle for a man maybe that they know they wouldn't be able to get in if he was in the streets. He wouldn't really, you know what I mean, want to
So
be in a
you saying
relationship
so
with
you
you.
so hold on. You
Yeah.
saying that you think women tend to gravitate towards a man that's in prison that might be out of her league, but she can have him now because he's in prison?
Somewhat, yeah, yeah. That's a small portion of what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like I feel like, yeah,
So
yeah.
so chicks is so chicks is lining up to be with Puffy right now that normally they didn't have a shot while he was in the street.
Oh, yeah. Well, you seen that before. Have you seen that? I mean, I was looking at the
I'm just
Menendez brother thing. I mean, even with
right. They married. The
right,
Menendez brothers is married, but love is a real thing, and
right,
sometimes
but yeah, it's a real thing. It's true. It's a real thing. But we can't use Puffy because his status on the street is always something that would somebody would be attain. Trying to
nah,
attain.
nah, nah,
They
nah.
would.
It was a facetious
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
inquiry. It was just thrown out there like
yeah,
to say like like the vultures, or the buzzers, that might, they elevated, they got their own stature in
right.
society or whatever, but he wasn't checking for them.
No.
Is that what you're saying? That's not what you're saying?
Yeah. So
Because I
yeah,
feel
so
like,
some of that is true. It's not 100% true across the board with every relationship because
yeah,
it could be somebody such as of you that's in there for not you're not in there for the reason that they put you in there, right? So it's not like
right, I
you
got you,
you
I got
looking
you.
for somebody that's like you looking for the crumbs of society. You saying
Right,
it's not about the character of the person. It's more of I got a captive person now. You know what I mean? I got a
I got you.
person.
Yeah, like the movie Misery.
Yeah, right. Like you see, like she had a captive person. He was able to leave. She's like, I'm gonna break your legs. You ain't gonna be able to go nowhere. You're gonna have to listen to everything I say. I'm gonna take care of you. You know what I mean, and all of that, without them
What
going
a,
to that steps.
what about the fruitful and prosperous relationships that exist between
And
a
that's what I
man
said.
and a woman?
Yeah, that's why I'm not
Um,
downplaying those because those are important. I've also encountered many of those relationships that where a woman might have met a person through a pen pal or through another friend. I'm saying,
right,
and then
right.
they hit it off, and then they compliment each other. You know what I mean?
I
Sometimes
think
you might be with a woman on the street that won't hold you down, but you find a woman
right.
while you in there that will hold you down till you come home.
I think it's based on expectation. A lot of it, like you meet somebody. I think men and women, are hunters by nature, and you out there, you hunting for your somebody you identify with, whether it be philosophy, religion, perspective. There could be a physical attraction, and it just so happened that the guy might be in prison and she might be free. I've had experiences where I've met women that how can I put this? They're not built to be in a situation that requires more physicality
Right.
and presence. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mm.
we have a great friendship that leads to something else, and then it fizzles out because it's like, damn, Ty, when you coming home? When they gonna
Right.
let you go? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Then on the flip side, you know, it has to be friendship.
Right.
And this is speaking to, you know, the subscriber, the listener that reached out, about her situation.
Hmm.
Um, there has to be a friendship, that type of bond.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before you get into the relationship aspect of it and you have these expectations, because that gotta be the bedrock, that gotta be the foundation. And if y'all wasn't friends while that man was in prison, then 9 times out of 10 y'all might not get along. Like you could be jacking a chick, you could be feeling her
Right.
while you in prison, and then you get out there and you see the way she living and the way she conducting her lifestyle, and you be like, it doesn't coincide with what I'm doing, it's not conducive to my movement, and then y'all stop seeing eye to eye. But because the friendship wasn't there first,
Right.
y'all can't continue to copulate. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And ambitious people, they can't wait to get released from prison because
Right.
it's straight to the top.
Right.
Ain't no phony business. There's no time to play games. You got a playbook that you've been putting together, and you're gonna call these plays like you standing on the sideline at the Super Bowl,
Right.
coaching.
So this and this the other thing. So in prison, you got to learn how to read people, right?
Right.
You
Prison is a
read
very,
body
very
body
dangerous
language.
place. Right.
You know actions.
Right.
And I feel like you guys are more inept with that knowledge of how to read people, and when you talk to somebody every day for months on end,
Yeah.
years on end, I feel like you can cipher through the bullshit that goes
Yeah.
on and
Yeah.
be like, yo, you know what you do all day, like, where you work, where you do these things, and you can tell it's different because not many people are like entrepreneurs and
Uh huh.
on the outside and on the inside. So I
Yeah.
feel like you guys know how to read through that stuff, and you can tell when a woman is just not on your level, like mentally. Yeah, you might have
Right.
conversations with them, right? But after a
Right.
certain point, the mental capacity of that person to hold a conversation about things that are less frivolous,
Right.
it
Right.
diminishes
Me.
over time. And I feel like you guys know that, and sometimes I feel like you guys kind of like settle, be like, you know what, she cool, she did this for me, she asked for some things, and all of this happened. She a cool person, you know what I mean? She might not be the one that I want to have a life with or marry or whatever, but she my friend, whatever. And y'all go on. Now that woman still thinks that it's a possibility that we have a relationship that's going to go further than just us talking on the phone or just being friends, right? And then you come home and then that doesn't happen, and then what happens is y'all butt heads, you get into this thing where now she's like, oh, I did all of this for you over these years and built you up or did whatever, but it was a two-way street, because I feel like a lot of women do that too. Like in the street, these certain type of women, they don't get the compliments, or they don't get to talk to somebody that ask them how they day
They don't
was.
get the roses.
Right, they
They
don't
don't
get
get
the
the
flowers. They don't
lingerie.
get all of that.
They don't get the wine. They don't get all
But
that
who's
stuff. The
gonna do
love
that
letters
is
and all that.
a dude that's in jail, especially if the dude was on the street getting money. He knows how to like wine and dine a woman and treat a woman nice. They get those things from dudes that's in there, and then they take less from men that's on the street, right? So I feel like that's like they being disingenuous with the amount of stuff. So when they start trying to pressure you now and be like, oh, why you ain't call me? Why this? You ain't, all of these different things that happen. But they would settle for less than that in the street. A dude might go be like,
Right.
I'm going and never talk to them, hit it, whatever, and it'd be like hard, but they'll still be pursuing that dude and not really. They'll just be settling, but they put a lot of emphasis on the relationship with the dude behind bars.
I think it's availability. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I think with me personally that I've had to
Mhm.
deal with, man. I've been in situations where I really, I felt like I was in love. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? And things wasn't happening fast enough for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo,
right,
damn, child, when you coming home, like, what's going on? When is the next court date?
right,
And I'll be like, yo, I really don't know, but I'm taking care of business.
right,
Lawyers is paid, investigators is on deck, whatever, I'm taking care of business.
right,
And, it's like you given a certain amount of time before that female is like, well, let me see, let me try this too and have that. You know what I mean? And then you in a
right.
situation like, shit don't something's different. Like, and the reality is that this chick is probably getting popped by a dude, and most times it'd be a dude that just see her having not been with a man for a while,
Right.
and he come fuck everything up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's happened to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like you right though, and it's to a certain extent. Like I was getting money when I was in the street. I
Right.
was, dating beautiful women, partying with celebrities, running with the big dogs, and I got put in prison, and
Right.
and you don't stop desiring women. I love women. I love everything about women, from
Right.
the hair on their head to the toes on their feet.
Right.
And when I meet a woman, if I feel her, then I'm gonna start courting her. You know what I'm saying? At the same
Right.
time, so I expect to be that same type of engagement to be pursued. If that's going on, obviously it's going to lead to a situationship or a lituation,
Hmm.
and um I know for a fact, me, like if I was getting out tomorrow,
Right.
Lord willing, I'm on my last days in prison now.
For sure.
But if I was getting out tomorrow, I think every chick that I probably encountered or dealt with, because of the way I move,
Hmm.
they'd be like, yo, I wanna get with you, I wanna be with you again, or whatever. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And you as my brother, my partner,
Hmm.
you seen me deal with situations where a female turned on me.
Right.
And not because I did something wrong, but because I don't have the keys to the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it hurts, you know what I mean? But it makes me stronger. It makes me better. It puts me in the perspective that family first. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And my generosity should not be taken for anything other than that.
Right.
You know, at this point in my life, I feel like if I'm not in awe of a woman, if I'm not amazed by her, if she doesn't inspire me, if we not in tune,
Right.
then she not doing enough to keep my attention. You feel me?
Right. Hmm.
Um, But there's shows about this shit. You got Love After Lockdown. You had the
Right.
Prison Brides that just was on earlier this year, and those shows inspired me to write my new book that's coming out in December.
Yeah.
You know, relationships, situationships between a man in prison
Hmm.
and a woman in the streets. One thing about a man in prison that was somebody before he went to jail,
Hmm.
he's very ambitious.
Right.
They can lock his body, but they can't trap the mind. Even if he's gone for a long, extended period of time, and he looks at the mirror and is telling them, "You getting old, B."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're like, "Damn, man, I might want to, try to get married now or something, man. I want to, you know what I mean?"
Right.
But you still have morals, principles, scruples, and you're gonna be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I feel like if a woman gives a man her time, her energy, and her money, I never had a woman that gave me her money.
Right.
I've never had that. I've always been the giver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I think you could attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. 100%.
I've never had
100%.
a girlfriend that took care of me,
Hmm.
that I could call and tell, bitch, put some money on my fucking books. Send this money here, do this, do
Right.
that,
Right.
or whatever. Like, no disrespect to women, but I hear that all the time when I'm on the phone. You
And
know,
that's part of, yeah, that's the other side of it that I was talking about too. Yeah, finish. I'll jump in when you finish.
I've never had that. But if a woman is doing that,
Yeah.
she's giving a man her time, her energy, her money. She pulling up on the dance floor.
Right.
She standing on business. She really, really love this kid, and
Hmm.
he's in jail. I feel like if I was a legislator and I had to write the laws and the rules of this love shit, love after lockdown, prison brides, and all that, it
Right.
would be mandatory that the man would have to at least give this sister or this female 90 days to 6 months to see if they
Real.
could still click
Right. If
and
they,
live
yeah.
together,
Right.
copulate, build together. Like money is important. If one person is about their bag and another one ain't, it's almost like this. You can't have a situation where Kamala Harris and Donald Trump got more in common than you and this chick or you and this guy.
Right. Right.
You
And
understand what I'm saying?
yeah, that's what I was saying about it. Like the other side of the behind the bars side is a lot of dudes are like kind of like prey on those women with low self-esteem and things like that.
I can't agree with that because men in here have low self-esteem.
I understand that. I understand that, but
So
you
they
can't.
so
You
so they so they
Yeah.
identify from that, from having that in common.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm not saying now I'm not saying that this is 100% again. Once again, no situation is the monolith and everybody's not the same, right? So, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying to you is that that's not the undeniable fact that there are some people that are in there that do the thing, just like it's women that are on the outside that do the same thing. They
yeah.
don't
All
pray.
right, all
They
right.
don't pray.
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Yeah,
that because I know women that prey on dudes in prison.
right, and that's what I'm telling you. So they,
I
so
know
that's
a couple
yeah,
chicks from uptown. All
right,
they date is niggas that's in jail.
right,
That's a fact. That's a whole fact. I
right,
know some chicks that all they deal with is dudes that's locked up
right,
because they know where you at. They know you ain't bringing them no disease.
right.
If you that nigga, you bought that bag, you gonna be helping out. You gonna be
Right,
asking them to pick this up, grab
right,
that for me. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Yo,
Absolutely.
go get your hair done, go get your nails done, go here, go.
Right.
So it's chicks that do that too. You can't just say dudes is in jail playing
No,
on
no, no, no,
females.
no. I'm not saying no. I'm not. No, no.
Okay.
Because yeah,
Uh,
because even with that, see, those are the ones that you would consider the gold digger ones. Those are the same chicks that would mess with a dude that's hustling in the street, right? Because they know
right.
that nigga getting that bread, he gonna be able to buy me these bags, buy me whatever, pay my rent, get me a car, whatever. You know what I mean? So
So what he
that's
locked
one
up?
level of it. Then you got the chicks with the low self esteem that say all the niggas in the street ain't shit. All the good niggas is taken. I'm gonna get me a nigga in jail because I'm gonna know what you know understand what I'm saying? They compromise. They compromise, or you understand what I'm saying? These are things
No,
that women say.
no,
Oh,
that's a whole fact.
you know what I mean?
That's a whole
It's
fact.
like it's like sections of it. I'm not saying all women, and I'm not saying all guys that are in behind bars are the same, but there are section
I'm a
and
good dude.
subsections of that.
I'm a good dude. Any chick
Right,
I dated while I was in prison,
right,
she probably got more good things to say about me than she does,
absolutely.
bad things or
But
whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
once again, you are the outlier in the. You know what I mean? You the outlier in the whole situation. There's not as many people that anybody's going to encounter that's kind of like you. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I feel like if a woman was blessed enough to be like catch your attention and they should. I can't tell somebody how to feel or how to like handle their life while they in the street and somebody's locked up because I never been in no situation like that. It's kind of like a long distance
right.
relationship where you never really get to. You know what I
It
mean?
is a long distance relationship. You have to be built different. You have to be
Right,
wired different, man.
right,
The phone goes off at a certain time. You
right,
can't call. She can't pick the phone up and call you unless you loopy. You know what I'm
right,
saying? She might not be able to get to you on a visit on a dance floor on a regular basis because you're too far. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Letters might you might not want to stop writing or whatever. The emails you might feel like you're saying the same thing over and over again.
right,
I get that. For me, it's as long as we vibing, we building. Cause I'm trying to build an empire.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And
And that's
I
what I'm
can't,
saying.
I don't have intention to give to somebody that's lazy
Right,
or or consent. And it's nothing wrong with being content,
right,
because we all know that it's not by choice if you're in a situation where you're struggling and you just getting by check to check. That could be
right,
looked at as contentment if you're not
right,
stepping outside that box. I
right.
respect women that work, that go
Yeah,
out
right.
there every day, that
Hmm.
put their scrubs on and go do what
Absolutely.
they got to do. I respect them. But it's I empathize
Right,
and I have a tremendous amount of respect for women
right,
who hold men down that's
right,
incarcerated, or hold them up. I
right,
don't,
right.
hold them
Hold them up.
up.
Right,
And if the brother is released, I haven't been released yet.
right.
So I can't speak for that, but I'm going to bring a brother on who has been
Yeah, I
released,
was gonna say this is
and
a
that could,
very nuanced conversation. So I feel like I haven't been in any one of the situations. You've been on one side. If we could find
yeah,
somebody that's willing to come on to talk about the woman's side, or to even write us and let us know any situations or how you feel about this situation, that'd be good too. We
right.
could answer those questions on the next episode. I think we should do a part two to this, to just to give
Uh,
it its full treatment and not half step on it, because it's like I said, it's very
right.
nuanced.
Me, I would give the sister, if I
Right,
was in that type of relationship
right,
where a chick was giving me money, coming to see me, and all that stuff
right,
for years and years, it would be, I would be compelled to try to give her the time to make it work.
right.
And
Yeah,
if it
I feel you.
was,
I feel you. But I think about some of the stuff, right? And I think like when you have a certain age, right, and then you at a certain ambition level, for you to
yeah,
mess with somebody that is less
am
ambitious
I
than
too,
you,
am
huh?
I too ambitious?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as being too ambitious. How could it be? How could it be?
I'm just,
You know what I mean?
cause man, I don't know, man.
You
I
know,
don't know.
you don't get fat from
I
being
don't know,
ambitious. You
man.
don't get sick. You know what I mean? Like the only thing is that you better yourself from being too ambitious, right? So you be too
I
ambitious, you
got
might
my 10th
overshoot
book
sometimes.
coming out. I got my 10th book coming out.
Right,
It's about this topic. It's
right,
about women, being involved with men in prison,
mhm,
and watching Love After Lockdown or Prison Wives,
Right.
prison. It inspired me to write that book. I felt like I wanted to write a story where these brothers was in jail dealing with real situations and
Right.
had real solutions and real ideas. And these sisters, that was dating these dudes and wanting to marry these guys.
Right.
Um, you know, I wanted to I told some of the stuff I experienced dealing with women. I used some of
Right.
those experiences, to craft these characters and
Mhm.
drive this storyline to the finish line. But like I said, I empathize, man, and I hope that all of the females that that deal with guys in prison, man. I hope y'all get out of it what y'all want, and I
Right.
hope y'all also realize there's expectations from that guy. If you have stepping, he
Right.
never gonna forget that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you walking backwards, he never gonna forget that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, don't ask how much the bag costs.
Right.
Just
Right.
know you fucking with a boss.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
this was an interesting episode, man.
Yeah.
We got Fred Taylor coming on,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Definite.
very,
That's
very
going to be a
soon, man.
great. Yeah.
We're gonna be discussing business,
It's
legacy.
entrepreneurs. Yeah.
For those who don't know who Fred Taylor is, he ran the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's the leading rusher. He played for Florida in a college. He's the ambassador for the Jacksonville Jaguars now, and he's also one of the co-hosts on Pivot, the Pivot podcast.
Right.
So we're gonna be having him on real soon. Shout out to Fred Taylor and his team. We look
Yeah. For
forward to
sure.
that.
We appreciate it.
Um, for sure.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep doing it, man. We're gonna keep doing it. We started this with a mission to keep, you know, eyes and ears open,
Right.
keep people aware, wanting to participate in this journey, in this struggle that I've been enduring
Right.
and surviving for the last 27 years. I didn't want to have to go to my friends in high places and continuously ask them to do this for me, to bring me on their platforms, to post for me and all that. We
Right.
figured that be able to do it this way and spiraled into something else. Now there's really, really general discussions,
Right.
and we talk business, relationships, family, loyalty, love,
Right.
truth, justice, and that's where we at with it.
For sure. For sure. So this been another episode. Like I said, I think this need deserves a part two, and we'll try to get those questions. If y'all have any questions, you always could comment on the YouTube page, leave comments. You could email us. You go to the website. You could leave your comments about this situation. We want to hear about it because we know it's a few of y'all that's locked up or have been,
Right,
and it's a few
right,
women that have messed with people who have been locked up
right,
or been in a relationship
right,
not messed with, right? Where
right.
somebody was locked up, and you have an opinion too, and we want to hear about it. So you know, leave those comments, emails, and we'll answer those questions and tackle those situations when we get on to the next episode, part two of this one.
Right, that's a fact. Shout out to my man Chino. That's
Mhm.
my trainer, my CrossFit trainer. He's been married, I think, for 6 years now, and I think that's super dope. What him and his
Yeah.
wife got going on, the Lugos,
Okay.
and I see them on the dance floor all the time, and they in love, and that's what that's I guess that's what it's supposed to look like. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? The
Right.
prison wife, the that type of love story. It's different types of love stories.
Right.
Before we go, I had read this book years ago. It was called The Prisoner's Wife by
Uh,
Asha Bandel, and it was an extraordinary story about a sister falling in love with a brother in prison,
right.
Rashid. And he was serving 25 to life in the state of New York. She was in there doing like I guess like a poetry. volunteer type thing, and they
Correct.
connected. So you never know who you gonna connect with and when you gonna connect. Don't
Absolutely.
duck the connection. Do not duck the connection.
Right.
Peace. One. Peace to all the kings and all the queens. One.
Easy.